All right, so starting out today, let's come into a thoracic heart opener. So if you do have a blanket available, you can use that. You could also grab a towel. You could also roll up your mat here. So we're basically making a little burrito, and we're going to lay over this. We're going to open up the shoulder blades and the thoracic a little bit. And I've actually had got like that pinched spot in my body. So I'm probably going to skip downward dogs and any weight bearing stuff today, but we're going to do some stuff to open up the shoulders. And this is one of those that helps to stretch out the pectorals that get really tight. So you're going to lay over this. The fatter it is, the more intense it's going to be. So if it feels like too much, you are going to make your roll up a little thinner. And then you're going to do cactus arms. And you want your shoulder blades pressing in to the backside of this bolster. So the bolster is just in the upper chest, shoulder blades melting down. You can just gaze up at the ceiling, maybe gently tuck your chin towards your chest, close your eyes. And then you decide what to do with your legs. You can bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat and allow the knees to knock in towards each other. Some of us might feel good extending our legs. That can often put a little pressure in the lower back. So if you go there and it feels a little intense, skip that variation, just bend the knees again. Other option here is to bring the soles of the feet together. And that's going to stretch into the groin, outer hip. You might even slide blocks underneath. It's a little intense, but you're liking the sensation. So finding the place where you feel comfortable, again, letting the shoulder blades release down into the mat. And let's take a nice deep inhale here through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Do that again. Smooth, deep, full inhale. Open the mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. And then start to find your ujjayi breath here. So inhaling through your nose and then also exhaling through your nose. So you start to create that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. And as much as possible, you're going to bring your attention to your breath. You're listening to that sound. Trying to keep the length of the inhale, the length of the exhale really nice and even. You're going to notice that your attention wanders. You get distracted by sounds happening in the room around you. We especially get distracted by the thoughts coming in and out the mind. So when you notice that your attention has wandered, you just come back to your breath. You might have to remind yourself to do that 1,000 times the next hour. So don't get frustrated with that. It's like par for the course. And some days it's a little easier. Some days we have more kind of mentally that we're chewing on. So just be okay with that if that's where you're at. But you might find that as you keep coming back to your breath, you get these pockets of stillness. And just another moment here. Really soak up this stillness. Good. One more deep inhale. And this time open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then you can bring your hands to the outside of your legs if you're near Supta Baddha Konasana. Just draw them in. And then just gently roll off to one side or the other. And then let's come to a nice seat. So crossing right shin in front of your left shin. As you come here, if the knees are up really high, that's a good indication that you might need to sit up on something. So just giving yourself a little space. And then just bring your hands to your knees or your shins. We're going to just start to do some rolls, some little circles in the pelvic girdle. And these can be big or small. You can kind of get the shoulders involved here, even the head. Just kind of warming everything up, noticing how things are feeling. And then just kind of enjoying this movement too. This isn't something that we do very often in our yoga practice, so it can feel kind of liberating sometimes. All right, so let's start to switch directions here. Good. And then just come upright to a nice tall seat. Let's extend our legs to straight, recross with the left shin in front, and then bring your fingertips to your shoulder heads. And we're going to just start to roll forward. So just warming up that shoulder girdle. Good. And then start to roll backward. So this one especially is really another good stretch for opening up the pectorals. So opening up across the chest. And we spend a lot of our time at the computer, kind of hunched over. So this is like the antidote to that. In fact, you can really try to feel, it feels as though you're going to squeeze your elbows back behind you. You're going to try to get them to touch, and you can feel those shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Good. And then just go ahead and release here. Take a couple of breaths. So shoulders are stacking over your sit bones. You can feel the engagement of the lower belly. Just notice the breath moving through the sides of the waist. And then from here, we're going to come to our tabletop position and just move into a little cat-cow. So set up with your shoulders over your wrists, beautiful, knees underneath your hips. And then as you inhale, you arch into your lumbar, your chest comes forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, you press the mat away, so arms stay nice and straight. Chin tucks towards chest. Inhaling, arching, beautiful work. Exhaling, rounding in. Maybe spread your toes a little bit as you firm into your shins, and you're just continuing with your breath at your pace. Can often feel really nice to close your eyes here. And that just kind of helps you to get inside your body. You start to notice how the spine is feeling. Let's do a couple more rounds like this. Beautiful work. All right, so on your next inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. Gaze is slightly forward, so just an inch or two in front of your fingertips. You're pulling your lower belly in and up. So it's like you have this nice flat surface. It's like a tabletop to have a little tea party. Let's reach our right toes back, curl them under, and then press that heel back so that leg is really strong and active. You feel the inner thigh spiraling up towards the ceiling. Keep rooting down into your right hand. Just extend your left arm forward like you're going to reach out and shake somebody's hand, and then find that belly again. Feel the outer hips Firm into your left shin as you start to lift your right leg up to hips distance. Or hip height, rather. Breath smooth and steady, so a little bit of a balance pose here, building a little heat, doing opposite arm and opposite leg. So this is a really nice tractioning for the spine. Again, gaze slightly down and forward is helpful. One more deep inhale. Exhale, you release that side down. Take a couple more rounds of your cat-cow. Maybe you're starting to find a little more movement in your spine. I'm always amazed by how just a little bit of moving goes a really long way in such a short amount of time. This is why it's good to do a little every day. Okay, come back to that neutral spine. So you have that nice flat back. You can even think outer hip squeezing in as your lower belly pulls in and up. Curl those left toes under, firm that leg up, extend it to straight. So it's basically in a plank pose here. And then you're pressing down into that left palm, gaze slightly forward, extend your right arm forward. Can you still feel your shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other? So that's giving you some support. Again, we're almost trying to find that little sense of back bend in the upper body here. Okay, so hold on to this, really firm down into your right shin. Left leg starts to lift up to hip height. Those toes are pointing down. You're nice and long here. Pretend that you have a friend holding your wrist, another friend holding your ankle, and they're gently tractioning you apart. Breath smooth and steady. Good, deep inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and release down. So walk your hands slightly forward. So kind of more like what we're gonna do when we're gonna come into downward dog. We're not going there yet, but we're gonna inhale, find that arch. So this cow stretch. And then as you exhale, I want you to round in, pass through your cat pose and rock back to your child's pose. We're going to just do this little vinyasa here a few times. Inhaling, coming forward into that cow stretch. Exhale, you pass through the cat as you make your way into your child's pose. So let's do 3 more of those, just moving with your breath. And when you make it back to that third child's pose, just hang out there for a couple of breaths. Extend your arms forward quite a bit. So as you spread your fingers and press down into all 10 knuckles, you feel those forearms lift. So it's that feeling that we have in our downward facing dog. Keep your arms that active. Just start to walk your hands off to the right. So you're finding a little twist. So you can wrap your left ribs towards your right thigh. Your belly is kind of resting on that right thigh. Your head may be on the floor. You might be gazing slightly forward, have it lifted. Just see what feels best. Think downward dog again in the arms. So pressing down. Check in with the breath. Find that inhale through the nose and that exhale through the nose. And then walk back to center. And then off to the left. So right ribs wrapping towards your left thigh. Just finding what you need to do with your head for this to feel good here. Here we walk back to center. And then go ahead and come on up. So let's do one little more shoulder opener here. So let me back up so you can see my hands. So we're going to root down into this right hand. You can bring your wrists back underneath your shoulders. We're going to thread this left arm behind that right wrist And you're going to lay down on this left ear, left shoulder. For a lot of us, this can feel really, really tight. So this is a great place to take a block underneath your head or shoulder, blanket, pillow. Use anything that you need to. And then we've got a little twist here. So before we go any further, let's extend our right hand straight forward. So it's like it's coming into downward facing dog. Nice work. As you press down evenly into that right palm, can you use that leverage to help you spin your left ribs up towards the ceiling a little bit? And then your choice. So if this is feeling good, if you're getting enough sensation here, stay here like this. Otherwise, start to walk that right hand, kind of glide it over the mat and floor. So it comes off to the right. It's in line with that left arm. And then perhaps start to reach those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can lean that top arm back a little bit. So again, we're going for that shoulder opening, that chest opening. Spin your right palm to face behind you. So we're getting external rotation. Actually, that would be internal rotation. And then bend the elbow. Perhaps you can grab a piece of shirt, the lower left side. Maybe you can get your right fingertips to the inside of your left thigh. Gently start to lean that right shoulder back. Breath smooth and steady. Inhale, fill up. Send the breath to the places where it feels like it doesn't naturally want to reach. Breathe into the back of the body. On your next inhale, extend your right arm up. As you exhale, unwind, press into that right palm. So come back to that tabletop and we take that to the second side. So your left shoulder is over your left wrist. We thread this right arm underneath, landing on that right shoulder, right ear. You might just notice that this side is different. So if you need a prop, use one. So nice little twist here. Big shoulder stretch. Go ahead and reach the left arm forward. So think downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, press into those 5 knuckles. You might feel that inner left arm start to spiral towards the outer left arm, widening across the backs of your shoulders there. Breath smooth and steady. And this is indeed a big stretch in the neck and the shoulder for some of us. If you're in that camp, you stay exactly where you're at. Otherwise, start to slide that left arm off to the left. So wrist is perpendicular to your shoulder. You can stay here, or maybe you start to lift that arm up off the mat. And then you're just leaning that left shoulder head back, finding that stretch across your heart and chest. Internally rotate, so spinning that palm to face behind you. Bend the elbow, grab a piece of shirt, maybe get your fingers to the inside of your right thigh. Sometimes that has to do with arm length, flexibility. So if that's not happening, you're not doing it wrong, don't worry about it. We take a few breaths here, feeling this stretch across the heart and chest. Breathe into the places where the breath feels a little shallow, where it doesn't want to go. Maybe right behind that left shoulder blade. Good. And then if you are in the wrap, next inhale, extend that arm up. As you exhale, you unwind, come to your tabletop. Let's just cleanse the palate with a little cat-cow. And we're going to actually do this a little different today. We are going to, on account of me, we are skipping planks and downward dogs, but we're going to find a little flow regardless. And again, we're going to focus on kind of opening the shoulders, the back. So to transition out of this, let's go ahead and sit back on our heels. just for a couple of breaths. You can reach back, curl those pinky toes under. And this is a super, super intense stretch on the toes. It feels like they're going to break. So if you need to back out a little bit, you can walk your hands forward. You can take little breaks. If you can stay with the intensity for a few breaths, be there, smile. Notice if there's a lot of tension in your face and jaw. This will not last forever. Oh, so intense. Okay, so rock forward and then kind of beat the toes out a little bit. All right, so we're gonna sit back. And this is just for fun. This is a good thing to do several times during the week. So crossing one ankle in front of the other. You might want to have blocks next to you. We're going to try to stand up like this without using our hands. I'm telling you, it's actually wicked hard to do, but it is a sign kind of that everything is working. So it's a good thing to practice. If that worked okay, and you can, by all means, use your hands to help you come up. Go ahead and sit back down. Nice, nice, Stephanie. And then try the other way. So cross the other ankle in front, and you have to engage your core a little bit. Has to do with flexibility in the hips. And one side is always harder than the other. Nice, nice. So that's homework, yoga homework. Practice that a couple times every day. And if you're not there yet, you will be there eventually. And then we're gonna go ahead and come up to standing. If you wanna do it another time or two, you're welcome to. So let's find a nice mountain pose, feet about hips distance apart. Second and third toe point forward. So make sure that your tailbone is releasing down. You're feeling this openness and stretch across the heart. And then I want you to imagine, and you can actually, if you would like to, go stand against a wall. If you don't have one free, I want you to pretend that you're standing against a wall and that your shoulder blades are pressing back. You can have your feet slightly forward. We're gonna bring our arms kind of in a little cactus shape here. And then just a few times, we're gonna do these little snow angels. So this is a great little thing to do. If you get that grip, most of us have like one side between the shoulder blades where we get that grip when we're feeling extra stressed, or we've been working at the computer a little longer. So this is a great way to kind of fatigue those muscles so they release a little bit. They kind of get tired, so they stop contracting. And you do want to feel the back of your head pressing into the wall if you're using it. That's really nice. A lot of us have our neck forward most of the time, so we need to kind of bring it back. Let's just do a few more of these like little wall angels. And just moving with your breath here. Inhaling up, exhaling, lowering. Good. And then just go ahead and release down. If you're at the wall, you can come to the top of your mat. And if you would like to bring your toes a little closer together, you're welcome to do so. Again, just that same alignment point of second and third toe pointing forward. And then we're just going to start to find a little flow here, some modified sun salute. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. You can also reach forward and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. You might want a little bend in your knees, especially this first one. Make sure you're not gripping the back of the neck. Let it release. As you inhale, hands can come to your shins or thighs. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. You're making that L shape with your body. As you exhale, you fold back in. Pressing down into your feet, reach arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So that is our Ardha Surya Namaskar, our half sun salute. We're going to do a few more of those. Inhale, fill up, maybe gaze up, press palms. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in. Inhaling, chest comes forward, gaze comes forward, our half forward fold. Exhale, release back in. Inhaling, pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We're going to do 3 more of these. I'm not going to cue you. You're just going to move with your breath. You can follow along with me. If you know these really well, can feel super nice to close the eyes. And again, that just helps you get inside your body. Your pace might be different than mine. That's absolutely fine as well. We do these same poses, these same movements over and over again, but it's always a little different. Some days we need to move a little faster. Some days we feel like we want to slow things down. It's really important that we listen to that. And there's absolutely no rush here. Beautiful work. When you're done with your 3rd round, you're just pausing in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart. Close your eyes if they're not already. And then do a little check-in. How are you feeling? How are you feeling different already? You might feel the heart beating a little faster. You might be experiencing some heat as the body begins to warm up. You might feel as though you're standing a little taller already, that there's more space inside of your body. Notice all of this. You might be having a rough day too, where it just feels like, oh, this is taking longer than it usually does. It's also okay to be there. Then we're going to blink our eyes open here. As you exhale, release your arms by your sides. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhaling, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. We're going to keep our right foot forward. We're going to step our left foot way back, and we're going to land on that knee. And we're going to take a couple breaths here, just allowing this left hip to release down towards the floor. So a nice hip flexor stretch. If you are a little tighter, this is a great place to use blocks or some books if you have them. It's called Bringing the Floor Closer. And it's definitely not cheating. Send your breath to this left hip flexor quadricep. Big muscle group. They get really, really tight. Okay, so from here, we're going to start to straighten the right leg. So getting into another big muscle, the hamstring, which is on the back of the leg. It's this big muscle that looks like a canoe for most of us. Again, it's super, super tight. So blocks can be really nice. If you're super tight and upright and you need a little help balancing, you could hold on to a piece of wall here. If you're a little more limber, perhaps you're walking your hands forward, but I want you to find that feeling of openness across your heart and chest. So little back bend in the upper body, the thoracic. And in this pose, it feels as though you're drawing that right hip back as your left hip comes forward. So both hips are facing the same direction. All right, so let's just flow this together a few times. As you exhale, come into the quadricep hip flexor stretch. Inhale, pull back into the hamstring stretch. Little flow here. Good. As you exhale, melt in. Good. Inhale, lengthen back. One more round, exhaling. Good. Inhale. And then go ahead and just upright yourself. So bring your hands to that right thigh, and you're going to want to just make sure that that right knee is over your right ankle. You'll also want to make sure that you're not on a tightrope. So you might need to walk your right foot off to the right. You might even need to pad up the left knee a little bit if it's a little tender. Let's inhale. Stretch the arms up. So we're in our low crescent pose. There's that scissoring action happening in the legs here. We're going to come in to our cactus shape again. So I want you to, again, pretend that you're up against a wall. So your shoulder blades, the back of the head is pressing into the wall. And then from here, as we exhale, we're going to do some flies. So pretend that you've got a little resistance. It's like you're moving through molasses. Inhale, you open up. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other, the back of the body. Good, exhale, pressing in. Inhale, open up. Good, exhale, releasing in. One more, inhale, open up. And then as you exhale, stretch the arms up. Inhale, start to bring your gaze up, maybe press palms together. As you exhale, we're going to bring our hands to the mat, and you're going to slide your right knee back to meet your left knee. All right, so shift forward here, start to bend the elbows. So this is like the most chaturanga we're doing, modified. Come to your belly, and then reach your arms by your side, lengthen back through all 10 toes. So press a little more to the outer edge of the feet. So you feel those inner thighs spiral up. Keep anchoring down into the feet as you inhale. Head, chest, arms start to lift. Breath smooth and steady. Shoulder blades are really squeezing in towards each other. And as all of that happens, you're lengthening your tailbone towards your heels. Good deep inhale. As you exhale, lower down. Let's bring our fingertips underneath our shoulder heads, elbows squeeze in so the shoulder heads are lifting. A few times moving with the breath here into our low cobra. So inhale, chest extends forward and up. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling, lengthening. Good. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhaling. Lifting here. And then we're going to hold. We're going to take a couple of breaths. And in fact, as we exhale, nice and easy, just start to bring your gaze out over your right shoulder. And if your neck is tight like mine today, maybe you don't go as far as you normally would. Be okay with that. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Bring your gaze out over that left shoulder. Next inhale, come back to center. From here, we press up to our tabletop. And then we're just going to sneak that left foot through. All right. And then we come into this hip flexor stretch, quadricep stretch on the right side. Side to side, things can be really different in our bodies. So if you feel like you need those blocks underneath your hands, by all means, use them, even if you didn't need them on the other side. Send your breath to the front of the right leg. And maybe you're just noticing how side to side things feel different in your body. If this is the tight side, you're not forcing it to look like the side that's a little easier, just good with where you're at. Really nice. Is from here, we start to come into our half split. So straightening this left leg, left hip back, right hip forward. Again, hands can be on blocks, especially if that hamstring is a little tighter. You can also bend the knee a little bit. If you're a little more open, really flex these toes, point them up towards the ceiling, and then walk forward any amount. Send your breath to the belly of that hamstring. Good. So we just start to flow a little bit here as you exhale, rock forward, get into your right hip flexor. Inhale, straighten that left leg, finding the hamstring. Exhale, release in. Good. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, coming on in. Inhale, straighten that left leg. And then we make our way up to the slow crescent prep. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Make sure that your left knee is over your left ankle. All right, tailbone directs down, sternum stretches up as you inhale, arms reach out and up. Good, and then again, let's just make those cactus arms. As you exhale, give yourself a little resistance, engage the muscles. As you press in and then inhale, open up, feel the shoulder blades really squeeze in towards each other. Feel that lift of the sternum up towards the sky. Exhale, press in. Inhaling, opening up. One more, exhale. Press in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, straighten your arms. As you inhale, maybe press palms, gaze up here. As we exhale, our palms plant, curl your right toes under, step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of your mat. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Beautiful, beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. And we're going to do that second side, but we're going to flow a little more this time. All right. So inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. This time the left foot stays forward. We step that right foot way back. Walk it off to the right. So again, make sure that your feet are about hips distance apart. As you inhale, stay nice and low with your upper body, but take your arms out wide like airplane wings. Exhale, reach them forward in line with your biceps. Strong, strong legs as you inhale. Rise up, full crescent pose. Good. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend both knees a lot. Inhale, both legs straighten. Left hip back, right hip forward. Couple of these. Exhale, sinking in. Inhale, legs straighten. Exhale. Good. Inhale, legs come to straight. So this time we exhale. On your inhale, keep the deep bend in this left knee, but maybe start to straighten your back leg. It might not get all the way there. And then we're going to take our arms out wide. As you exhale, gentle little twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Beautiful. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Good. This time, come to center, stretch the arms up overhead on your inhale. As you exhale, hands plant, lower onto your right knee. Take your left knee back to meet it. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, lower onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra, lengthening back through all 10 toes. Exhale, press to your tabletop. Step the right foot through. Curl those left toes under. Make sure that your legs are hips distance apart. Inhale, arms out wide, shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other as you press your shoulder heads up towards the ceiling. Exhale, stretch the arms forward so they're in line with the biceps, little core here. Inhale, reach on up, full crescent pose. We exhale, bend both knees deeply. Inhale, both legs come to straight, right hip back, left hip forward. Exhale, sink in. Good. Inhale. Exhale. See, you don't need chaturangas to get warm. All right, so this time we sink in. As you inhale, keep a bend in that right knee, but maybe start to press that left leg to straight. Exhale, take your arms out wide. Nice deep inhale. Exhale. Gentle twist to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale to center. And then exhale, twist to the right. As you inhale, come back up, stretch the arms up overhead, gaze up, press palms. As you exhale, left toes stay curled under, step right foot to, or left foot to meet right foot rather. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So we're going to do one more full round. We're just going to do our crescent pose, one breath per movement. As you inhale, arms reach up. So nice little flow. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. So step your left foot way back. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. As you exhale, hands lower, left knee lowers, right knee comes back. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower onto your belly. Lengthen the legs back as you inhale, come into your low cobra. Exhale, press to your tabletop, and then step your left foot forward, curl the right toes under. Inhale, rise up into your crescent. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, chest extends forward. Exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, so that was half of that modified sun salute C. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. So this left leg stays forward, right foot way back. One breath. Inhale carries you up into your crescent pose. Maybe press palms, gaze up. Exhale, hands lower, right knee lowers, left knee comes back. Take an inhale. Exhale, you make your way to your belly. Inhale into your low cobra. Exhale, tabletop. Right leg steps through, curl those left toes under. Inhale into your crescent pose. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands plant. Left foot meets right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens forward. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes again. Check in, notice how you're feeling. So definitely some heat. My heart is for sure beating faster. These are all good things. See if you can kind of slow it all down though. Again, I think it just goes to show that sometimes you can move in a really gentle way, but you're still working hard. So we don't always need all the planks and all of the chaturangas. We don't always have to be so after it all the time. All right, so blink your eyes open here. Let's go ahead, when your feet hips distance apart here. Let's inhale, stretch the arms up. Feel the lower belly pull in. We're going to come up to tippy toes. This is a little core work here, a little quad strength, glute strength. We're going to start to bend the knees. There's going to be a place where you want to plop. See if you can kind of slowly move through that. If you don't, no big deal. And then you're going to come onto your buns, and we are going to lay down onto our back and move into a little bridge pose here. So landing with your ankles underneath your knees, maybe slightly forward if you're a little tighter in the hip flexors. Arms are by your side. And in this pose, you're gazing up at the ceiling. So we don't want to look side to side here. There's a lot of pressure on the neck and shoulders. So we want to keep the neck nice and long. I'm just going to flow with the breath here a little bit. So as you're just breathing here, I want you to notice how there's this natural curve in your lumbar, the lower back. As you exhale, I want you to start to direct your tailbone forward so you lose that curve. As you inhale, keep directing the tailbone forward. Press into your feet, lift your hips up. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, hips and arms lower by your side. And then take an inhale and then just find how you have that natural curve again in your lumbar. Exhale, start to curl the tailbone forward. Lose that curve. So you're flattening your spine. Inhale, hips lift. Exhale. And then inhale, reaching your arms up overhead. Exhale. Arms and hips release down. Inhale, find that natural curve in your lumbar. Exhale. Lengthen tailbone forward. Inhale. Lift up your hips. Exhale here. Inhale, stretching arms up overhead. Exhale, release arms and hips down. Let's do a couple more. We're just going to modify it a little bit. So inhale, feeling that curve in the lumbar. Lose that curve as you exhale. Inhale. Let's lift arms and legs this time. And then just take a couple of breaths here. So nice exhale. Full, complete inhale. As you exhale, everything lowers. Good. Inhale, find that natural curve in your lumbar. Exhale, start to flatten that curve. Hold on to that feeling as you inhale, lift hips and arms. Good. And then this time, keep your hips lifted as you exhale, but bring your arms by your side. And then a couple of options. You either grab the outer edges of your mat, snuggle the shoulders underneath you. You are welcome to interlace your fingers underneath you as well. You're breathing your sternum, your chest towards your chin. So there's this nice lift. Observe if you're starting to roll to the outer edges of your feet here. It sometimes happens. So I want you to think Tadasana feet. So you're pressing evenly into the four corners. As you lengthen your tailbone forward, you find more space through the sides of the waist. You also feel those inner thighs spiral down. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. Let's take one more deep inhale. Beautiful work. As you exhale, you can release your hands lower down. And then walk your feet so they're as wide as your mat. Bring your arms out in a T shape here. Nice and gentle. Let your legs start to windshield wiper. So knees fall to one side. And then to the other. So nice little release for the lower back. After that bridge pose. So when you're even, come back to center. And then just heel toe your feet so they're hips distance apart. You can release your arms by your side. We're going to take our right ankle, cross it above our left knee. Flex this right foot a lot. And then you're going to take your right hand, press it into that right thigh. So you're gently drawing forward. So we're getting into the hip. We haven't done a lot of hip stuff today. So you might be getting a pretty good stretch just being right here. If it feels like you have a little more room, a little more space, you can start to bend your left knee in. There's a triangle that you're making with your leg. Reach your right hand through that and either interlace your fingers around your left thigh or shin. And then you can take that right elbow into that right thigh and press forward again. So that will just kind of intensify things. You might not need to do that. So there's always lots of stages that we can visit in these poses. And again, especially if there is any sensation in your knee, that right knee, I want you to make sure that you're flexing your right foot. That just helps to engage those muscles there. So it offers some support to that knee joint. We got a few more good breaths here in this reclining pigeon pose. Okay, so as you exhale, go ahead and release if you bent that knee in. We're going to keep the legs like this. Bring your arms out in a T shape. And we're going to do a funky little twist here. So you're going to start to roll to the outer edge of your left foot, and you're going to stamp that right foot down into the floor. And then you can either gaze straight up at the ceiling here, or maybe you start to bring your gaze out over that right shoulder. Feel both shoulder blades really nice and heavy. Good. As you inhale, come on up to center. And we take that little sequence to the second side. So uncross right ankle, take left ankle above your right knee, take your left hand, just press it into that thigh. So for many of us, this is plenty of stretch. If you're feeling it, this is where you need to be. If you do want to go a little further, you are welcome to bend your right knee into your chest, reach your hands through, and then interlace either around that right thigh or shin, maybe wedge that elbow, left elbow into left thigh, and then make sure that you're flexing that left foot. Doesn't matter if you're flexing the right foot or not. I actually find that it's kind of hard to just flex one and not the other. Maybe that's you too. It's like tapping your head and rubbing your belly. What's that trick that we all used to do as kids? You're observing how this side feels different in your body. And again, there often is, subtle differences. We all tend to, we're right-handed or left-handed. So, there's a dominance of side that we use more. So it can often get tighter. When we can start to pay attention to these things, we can start to bring a little more equanimity to our bodies. We can start to make little adjustments so that we feel better. We also know when we need to take breaks. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and release whatever version of this you're in here. Bring your arms out in a T shape. And then we find that funky little twist. So roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Stamp that left foot down into the floor, and then maybe gaze out over your left fingertips if that feels okay. Otherwise, you're just looking straight up. Shoulder blades nice and heavy here. Good. As you inhale, come on up. Uncross, give the knees a squeeze into your chest. And then you're going to make your way into your final resting pose for just a couple of moments in our Shavasana. If there is tenderness in your lower back, it's really nice to take the feet wide, allow the knees to knock in towards each other. So you're just getting a little support. Otherwise, you're welcome to come into a classic Shavasana or slide a blanket and blocks underneath your knees. And maybe snuggle those shoulders underneath you, that feeling that we had in bridge pose. And then close your eyes here. Let your bones get really heavy. So completely relax, surrender here. We've worked really hard. Now we rest hard. We just allow all of the poses that we've done to assimilate into our brain, into our body. We have this moment of quiet before we transition into the rest of the day. So really let yourself go there. So let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And start to bring some gentle movement back to your body. So wiggling fingers, toes, stretching out. And then you can roll to one side or the other. Just find the fetal position, hang out there a moment. You'll eventually use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. So final check-in. Just notice how you're feeling differently than when we started. Hopefully it feels like there's a greater sense of ease in your body and space. You're sitting a little taller. Notice how the breath has shifted. It's a little steadier, deeper. And then perhaps as a result of body and breath working together, the head space is a little calmer, quieter. You feel more focused. You might even feel a little joy. So soak all of that up. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort, for making the time. And finally, just promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling with you into the rest of the day ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart and just bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today. Thank you.